And tariffs don't cause inflation, they cause success. They cause big success. So we're going to have great success.
This man really played almost half the country into thinking tariffs were a good idea because people just do not understand the basics.
Who pays the tariffs?
The Chinese government pays the tariff.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do. The government that is manufacturing that product, I just want it to be even. Instead of us paying 400% of tariffs.
How you doing?
Hey, good. I don't want.
I want to. I'm an importer and an exporter.
Yeah.
For 20 years.
Okay.
When a product comes into the U.S., there's something called a tariff sheet.
Okay.
I, as the buyer of that product, follow U.S. law and pay the tariff. Some goods are tariff-free, but when I pay that tariff, I'm an American citizen, an American taxpayer, right? That tariff might be 1%, it might be 7%,
okay.
It might be 14%. That means I'm a U.S. company, I pay that tariff to the U.S. government, and that increase in the cost of the product, I then sell to you for a higher price because I've got to cover that tariff.
Leave it up to Walter Masterson and this gentleman to fact check what is believed to be a member of MAGA in real time to educate them on tariffs.
Donald Trump has announced that he will impose across-the-board 25% tariffs on steel and aluminium going into the United States. The US president said the tax on imports would apply to all nations' products, including Mexico and Canada, which is the United States' main supplier of aluminum. He had previously threatened 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada, but delayed them for 30 days last week. China's tariffs, announced in response to Mr. Trump's trade war, come into force today.
None of this is a positive for the American consumer. Zero. As Masterson and co. try to explain further to this apparent Trump supporter.
But the trade relationship between two countries, tariffs come into play with the trade relationships between countries.
That's why you have free trade agreements, right? But it doesn't mean that even within the free trade agreement there are not tariffs. There are multiple millions of tariff agreements between countries. The European Union may have free trade agreements within it, but there are products that go out that are still tariffed.
Yes.
But it's still the consumer. But the consumer, I absolutely assure you, I do this for a living. The consumer bears the cost. Now, it may be that an imported product, even with a tariff, supplants a domestic product. But you don't want that because that's going to affect American jobs. If there's one thing you should take away from this extended conversation is you are always paying the tariff. Me, you, everyone here is always paying the tariff.
Fair enough.
There is no economic reality in contradiction to that.
My question is simply this. Will this person learn from it? Will this change his worldview? Time will tell, I suppose.
Today, socialism has bankrupted the oil-rich nation and driven its people into abject poverty. Virtually everywhere socialism or communism has been tried, it has produced suffering, corruption, and decay.
Well, a socialist country for us. Billionaires, on the contrary, love, and I mean love, socialism. Hey guys, quick break in the action. I have a new show coming out called The Rick Strom Show. It is going to be awesome. I'm interviewing musicians, athletes, producers, writers, journalists, authors, sports doctors. Go check it out at youtube.com/@TheRickStrom Show. Also be sure to throw me a follow on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky. It can all be found in the description box below. Thank you.
You want to ask me a question?
I'm asking you, do you think we should tax billionaires? Or give them less taxes?
They're already taxed. Do you understand what would happen if a billionaire turned around and said, I'm not going to buy that $300 million yacht? Do you understand what happened? Everybody on that yacht would not have a job. Do you understand that? Do you understand if a billionaire...
So for America to work, they have to buy a $300 million yacht?
Stop. I'm not done with my answer.
So America is a $300 billion yacht?
$300 million. Do you know what would happen to this country if a billionaire stopped donating to the hospitals? Do you know what would happen? This would shut down. Do you understand that it takes a billionaire to incorporate a corporation to give you a job?
The middle class, the working class.
Without a billionaire, there is no middle class. There's nothing. Go back in history and look at the billionaires, and they are what developed this country. If you don't want to live in a developmental country, go south, go east, go west. This is the baddest that works in the world.
Because of billionaires?
Because of capitalism. Without a billionaire, middle class doesn't exist, period. You're right.
The middle class is almost going to be extinct because of billionaires.
No, you're wrong.
Credit to Masterson for keeping us cool, because the conversation is about to take a serious turn.
It has produced suffering, corruption, and decay. Socialism's thirst for power leads to expansion, incursion, and oppression. All nations of the world should resist socialism and the misery that it brings to everyone.
Ah, yes. Take it from the man who uses the federal government to enrich himself, and only himself, through socialist policies to call this out. What a crock.
What's wrong with socialism?
Everything. You want to know what's the problem with
this road.
No, let me tell you something. Don't tell me libraries and roads are f***ing social. Don't tell me that. That's bull. Venezuela. You want socialism?
Define
Venezuela.
Define socialism.
Venezuela.
Every time someone goes to define socialism, they always define capitalism.
Socialism. It was Facebook when they f***ing turned around and censored me and every other mother that spoke of.
That's capitalism. Yeah, that's capitalism.
You're f***ing wrong. That's not capitalism.
That's you just described capitalism.
You're wrong. You're right. It is socialism.
I asked him, give me an example for socialism, and he talks about Facebook. What is happening?
Honestly, Walter, a great question.
Where are you now on the question of if abortion should be illegal and whether same-sex marriages should be allowed?
Well, I'm pro-life, and I have been pro-life.
What does that mean to you?
Well, it means it's an issue. I mean, it is an issue, and it's a strong issue. And as far as same-sex marriage, I am for traditional marriage, but it seems that that's really becoming a states' right issue, and probably the Supreme Court at some point is going to be making a ruling on that.
Abortion,
at some point they should be making
abortion, even in pregnancy, early in a pregnancy, is murder to you?
No.
My, oh my, how the times have changed. Meanwhile, the pro-lifers were posed a fantastic question by Masterson at the March for Life event. Check this out.
We have a petition here to support universal school lunch and universal child care. We just think people should have access to this, and we thought the best place to get signatures for this petition are the March for Life. This is the place where everyone cares about life. Would you like to sign the petition?
I don't really appreciate being ambushed on camera, but I do know that there are a ton of people down there that would definitely be willing to sign.
No, I actually don't believe that schools should be providing kids lunch. I think it's up to the individual and the parents.
Universal school lunch and universal child care. And we're trying to get people to sign to show that, we care about babies when they're out of the womb. Would you like to sign the petition?
Like said, I'd have to look it up.
Are you interested in signing it?
I'd rather read about it first.
Pre-K and school lunch. That's it. Nothing crazy. Nothing radical.
We're just trying to show that it's universal school lunch is bipartisan and that universal pre-K is bipartisan. Very divided country, but we want to show the public that there's some unity there.
If the big hand of government gets involved, they tend to manipulate preconditions that I would necessarily not support.
We have a petition for universal school lunch. We have another petition for universal child care. We wanted to show that this is a group that cares about children. Are you interested in signing the petition?
We're trying to meet the rest of our group.
Oh, you got to get to your group? Oh, okay.
This image says it all, doesn't it? Walter Masterson is a fantastic comedian and a TYT contributor. If you can, please subscribe to his YouTube channel and check him out on TikTok plus Instagram. Great work all around, Walter.